Motherfucking dub, ho.
Yo, and welcome to the Ambition Hour podcast. It's your girl, Adi 3000, and this is episode 103.
Motherfucking dub, ho.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome yet again to another episode of the Ambition Hour podcast. I am your wonderful host, Adi 3000, and I am joined here with Marii Sunshiine. Clap it up for Marii Sunshiine, everybody. For those of you who don't see us on YouTube, it was to let you know that I'm not alone.
Hey, sorry. It's your girl, Marii Sunshiine, and if you see us, it's your boy, Kroos.
Oh, yeah. We have a dog on set with us today, and he's definitely on the table chilling. If you see us on YouTube, you can see it. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell on the side that we get notified each and every single time that we drop a new episode. This is WTW Saturday, so you know what that means. A new episode of yet again of the Ambition Hour podcast, and I'm very grateful. This is episode 103. Like I said, if you want all things WTW, all you have to do is head on over to our website, which is WTWrecords.com, and you can get everything that we got there: merchandise, stickers, everything. The podcast.
You can't have Claudia, though.
You can't. I'm not on there. I'm not on there. And if you're listening to us on SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeart, wherever it is that you're listening to us, I appreciate you. Remember, if you're driving, make sure you're paying attention to the road. There's a lot of crazy motherfuckers out here, and we don't want any of our listeners to go through something.
Speaking of crazy mother effers out here, you know that I was reading something today on Local 10 News that said Miami's officially the worst city to drive in traffic.
I believe it. I am one of the people that probably has contributed to that statistic.
Yeah.
Just because, I know how I drive.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like how you have to drive here. Something that I was noticing is that, like, people here assume that you're assuming that they're letting you go. So then that way, if they hit you, it's just like, no, it's your fault. Like, you should have seen me getting in front of you, and you should have stopped. And yeah, so
if you drive in Miami, you can drive anywhere.
I believe you. I don't know, but then when I was in New York, that shit looked kind of crazy.
Yeah, New
like
York is
it looks
pretty
like they
crazy, too.
don't like respect lines.
Yeah, but people in New York don't even have a driver's license. Like, you don't need it.
That's
At
very
least
true.
in the city. The city.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay, so I wanted to start off the episode like how we always started off. And with saying what you're grateful for. So, Marii Sunshiine, what are you grateful for this week?
So this week, I started a new job. So
Yay, clap it up for her.
Thank you.
My dog getting the bag.
You know. So I wasn't working. I wasn't working for a while.
We like to talk. You don't need to have the applause so long.
I'll clap for myself. But yeah, I hadn't been working for a while because I left my previous job. So, my schedule was just like really out everywhere. Like, it was just all over the place. Like, I was not waking up early. I was not doing, I guess, the things that you would do on a normal day. And just to be back on that schedule it's kind of nice. Obviously, like, you feel secure when you have a job too, and like I was not feeling secure. But with like the wedding and everything that just happened, the holidays, like, it was a good breather, but I'm ready to hustle now. Like, let's do this,
Yeah.
So that's what I'm grateful for.
Yeah, for that new job. My dog's in traffic now. She's living that 9-to-5 life. That 9-to-5 life is crazy. I remember the transition that I made from working from home and just really not having any structure besides working out in my schedule, and then hopping into a 9-to-5 and having to like have a structure and having to have the schedule and not letting
It's not easy.
yeah, and then not letting your 9-to-5 affect your goals and your dreams and your aspirations, whether it be your fitness, your health, your sleeping, your even just like your sanity, because sometimes with these jobs, like, they overwhelm you sometimes. I know for me, sometimes I've talked about on the podcast how sometimes my job overwhelms me as well.
Yeah, I mean, with any job, you know.
Yeah, I feel like with anything, because I feel like people think that the podcast is fun for me, and it's something that, like, it's my passion, and it comes, like, people say that it comes very easy to me. But for me, it's something that sometimes it overwhelms me, because it's like, okay, well, how can I push this to the next level? You know, how can I make it better? How can I make the content better? How can I make the set better? And then it's just like, it becomes like, so much.
Yeah, and then you just don't know what to do because you still have to focus at work.
Exactly. It's just like I'm over here trying to, like, come up with a whole thing in my head, and meanwhile I keep getting work handed to me, so I have to also focus on that, because that's what's funding the passion.
Yeah.
For this week, I am grateful for discernment, and
I'm gonna need a definition for that one.
I can find the official definition, but discernment is just basically like learning how to handle certain situations. So I'm gonna find the official one, because it's something that I've always liked. Discernment, bam. Okay, so discernment, the ability to judge well. Basically, yeah, so it's just like judging well, and like seeing certain things that trigger me from somebody's personality, or even like knowing that that's not good for me. Also knowing to not be so hard on myself, you know, like, so it's like, even with that, like, because it comes down to like how I judge myself.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing to judge myself not so harshly.
Yeah.
Which is so hard.
That's so hard because we're like our worst critic.
Exactly. So then, like, I was thinking about some things yesterday, because this is what happened, which is going to tie into the conversation I wanted to have with you. So first, before we start, because, oh yeah, I'm grateful for discernment, family, all that good stuff, you know, but something that I did want to tell you is that I want this to be like a Stairmaster session without the Stairmaster.
Do we still get to burn the calories?
Well, if we laugh hard enough, I think we can. But yeah, so cause something that I was thinking about yesterday was, we went to the studio. Shout out to Zuki, Hav and Spitz. Hav was did some recording in the studio, and so yeah, so I was just in the studio, and we ended up going to go eat. Well, the boys wanted to go get food, and my thing was like, I want to go home, I want to run, and I want to have a shake. That's what I wanted to do. But we walk into the spot, and there's French fries, and I smell them, and I want them.
What did I send you earlier this week?
Oh, the freeze fry event. I really want to go to that.
Yeah, there's like a French fry event at a park.
And it's free.
You just gotta drive to St. Petersburg.
I mean, we just like make a nice little playlist or just talk.
That's a nice weekend trip.
That is a nice weekend trip. I'm about it.
Okay, but going back to the fries.
Okay, yeah, but going back to the fries. From fries to another fry. I ended up ordering some French fries, and I ended up, because we went to Wingstop, and the fries, like, I like them, and then they have like these voodoo fries, Louisiana
like
voodoo fries.
fries.
I'm not sure. They had cheese, ranch, and then they had like the Cajun spice that they had, and so it was just really good. At first I was just like being really hard on myself, because I'm like, you said you were gonna go home, run, and have a shake, and now you're having like a full blown French fry meal. Because you know what's bad? I didn't have a shake. I didn't even eat dinner. My dinner were the French fries. So I was like, I'm so I'm so trash. And then so I had to like continuously tell myself like, no, it's okay. Like, if you just have the French fries for dinner, like, you'll be fine. Like, it's okay. You won't get hungry.
You got hungry?
I didn't. But then this morning, I was being so hard on myself. I was like, oh my God, like, you really had French fries for dinner. Like, and it's like, I feel like there's times that I eat like a child, and then there's times that I eat like an adult, like a responsible meal.
Well, let's just remember that on the cruise, our waiters knew to bring fries to the table.
They did. They would bring three things of French fries to our table. It was the best. But yeah, because I mean, we love French fries.
But I mean, okay, look, there's nothing wrong with eating fries if that's what you want to eat. I'm just like over like the thing of, oh, like you have to eat like this and this, like
Yeah.
eat whatever you want, like don't eat it all the time. Don't eat it all the time, but like eat it. Like you want to eat it. Your body craves it at some point. Like eat some of it. Like don't have the extra large fries or the super size me fries, but have like a small fry and have whatever else you're gonna eat.
For sure.
Uh, bro, I'm done not eating what I want. I don't want to eat.
I know
like,
something that you and I have talked about is like that is before, because when we met we were both in like super, like, I mean, if you guys heard to episode 100, then you guys know that we lived like a very like fitness lifestyle and super strict on clean eating, and
Yep.
it was just like we would meal prep and we would have the 2 shakes a day and work out like at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. in the morning, and then possibly like that's when that's how where we were in our lives when we met. And that was like super strict eating. We never ate French. I never ate French fries.
Like we would hang out at the gym. You know how you go out with your friends? You're like,
Yeah.
oh, like let's hang out. Oh, what do you want to do? Oh, I don't know. We can go eat somewhere.
Yeah,
Like it's
and-
always go eat somewhere. We would always work out.
Yeah, we would just
That's
work
it.
out. It would
It was
always,
the
it always
gym.
be that. And then eventually the friendship got stronger to the point where it was just like we were just doing other shit together. So
Like
that
eating?
yeah, like eating, which now is just like you're one of my favorite people to go to eat with. It's like,
What can I say?
Yeah.
I like good food.
you do. And so that was where we were in our friendship when we first met each other. And then so we've kind of like seen each other go from that like strict lifestyle to like we're going out places to
this.
eat. Yeah, all this goodness. All this scrumptiousness. I love it. Oh my goodness, I love my body.
Javier loves it too. Look at him.
The
He's
food.
like staring. Well, no, I mean like he's staring at us and.
I'm loving the content.
Shout out
Exactly,
to
that's
Hav,
what
who's
I
in the
meant.
building, my audio visual. And so yeah, so I know from as a child, like what I would eat and how I would eat and everything has always been a struggle for me. So I know that this is like the mentality that I have now is due to me as a child, but then also when I was a coach. So then that part of me also is just because I was taught, like, as a coach, I was taught you're supposed to set the example. You're supposed to, be the one who eats the best. And if you want the result, and if you want this, and the results you should have. And then it got to the point where now it's just like, well, I'm really just doing it for me. And I just want to be able to eat and enjoy the foods that I want to enjoy. Like if somebody invites me to brunch or if somebody invites me to something, like I don't want to be like, oh, I can't eat that. And then
Let me tell you that when I started doing like the whole Herbalife thing and not like eating regular food as much, like I'm part of a sorority. Like my friends would literally invite me to go to brunch on Sundays, and I would go sometimes, and like I wouldn't eat anything, or I would eat like the healthiest thing on the menu, like egg whites and avocado on wheat toast. Christian is here. Yeah, so like you don't want to, like, I'm not saying that egg whites and avocado on wheat toast is bad, because I've had it and it tastes really good actually. But if that's like the only thing you could eat when you also have chicken and waffles on the table, like
girl, and I just had that. I had that the other day for brunch. I was like, oh, it's a party. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I remember doing that too. I remember there was a time where I remember I went to my cousin. She was doing like a weekend thing, and I literally took my shakes with me. I even took wraps with me, like pre-made wraps, because that's what I was going to be eating, because I didn't want to eat what everybody else was going to be eating. Damn. And it got to, like, it was like that. Like, and then I would look at people eating all this good food, and I would just be like, I can't eat it. And it was because I was going for a goal that was so, like, instilled in my mind.
I did it too. When I was doing Herbalife, I was part of, like, my sorority's executive board, so we did a retreat a whole weekend, and like we didn't sleep over or anything, but I would go every day, and they would order pizza. They had pastelitos, croquetas, Cuban bread. I freaking love Cuban bread. And
Cuban bread is so good.
you better believe
nice
that
and toasty.
Yeah, but you better believe that I was there with my egg whites pre-made, which I just heated up. Like, bro,
I don't know how I did.
I don't know how I did that because now I see a plate of like the trays of pastelitos, and I'm like, yo.
Yeah, now it's just like I have no self-control. Like the week before the cruise when we were at your house, I had no self-control when I saw the food at your house.
But
I
that
had
food was
I
bomb.
had none, zero. And I'm like, how before? I would go to parties before. I wouldn't drink. I wouldn't eat. I would make sure that
I guess
would.
it depends on the occasion though, because look, at my new job, I have 2 drawers full of candy. One of them has chocolate, like every chocolate you can think of, like I'm like the fancy chocolate all the way to like your Twix, you know? And on the bottom drawer there's like candy like Skittles, Jolly Ranchers, you know, like hard candy. And then on the top of it's like the reception area, there's this huge thing of candy. And I have to sit there and stare at it, and I'm okay with that. Like, I don't need to eat candy, and I don't. Like, I've had a piece, but I don't have to eat it. Like, it doesn't tempt me. Like, I can restrain myself enough and be like, I don't want chocolate today. I don't want candy today. Like, but I'm also not a sweet tooth. So if you're a sweet tooth,
Yeah, I
that's
was
a
gonna
problem.
say because I couldn't be sitting in that off. Like I couldn't. Christian is here.
Yay!
Yay!
That's my boo. Hey, baby.
Hi. But yeah, so I wanted to go back into like my childhood. So as far as like my childhood went, I was always I was thicker. So I was always a very thicker child. And I loved food. I was always a child that every time that she went to the doctor would be like, she has to lose weight. Mind you, so first of all, for my height right now, I'm supposed to weigh 90 pounds. One thigh of mine weighs 90
What?
pounds. Where are they expecting me to like really weigh 90 pounds? But yeah, so and even just like the whole like shaming and like eating like because like you didn't want people to judge you or anything like that. And I see that as an adult, and that happens to myself. Cuz like I want like as much as I want to like I want to enjoy myself and I want to eat what I want to eat, it's still like the whole judgment thing happens. So that's why I'm grateful for my discernment, because I'm able to
But
see.
you know what's something that helps that discernment that you're talking
Yeah.
about? Do you realize that when you eat crap food, you feel like shit after too? Whereas when you eat something that's good for you, like you don't feel shitty.
Yeah.
So like I will eat McDonald's, and then not even 30 minutes later, I'm already like all sluggish, you know? Whereas you give me like vegetables and a nice cooked salmon, and like I'm good. Like I ate decently, I'm not stuffed, and I can continue on with my day or night or whatever.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it's like what you eat also helps with that whole judgment thing.
I know, because even if I eat a lot of something that's healthy, I'm not judging myself because I know that it was healthy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's like a battle, but I want to be able to just enjoy the good foods without like, which I feel like I'm getting better at. So that's, I guess, like a thing. But what I really wanted to like highlight on that is pretty much like for anybody who is listening, like who possibly goes through that, because I know this is something that people don't necessarily always talk about, like their relationship with food. Because sometimes like the relationship with food is either I don't know how to cook, or I don't know what to eat, or like I'm always eating out and like all these things. And if you're eating out, there's healthy choices that you can make. Now they're a little more expensive, because I remember like 2 weeks ago, bro, 2 weeks ago, I wanted dice, right?
Oof, that's
Yeah.
just good.
And then I ended up taking my homegirl to Burger King, and because I was at Burger King and it was like, bro, they have these chicken nuggets for like $1.50. That's not chicken. That's not chicken.
That's a whole chicken. Like,
No, like that shit is like that's not a like I don't know what the fuck that shit was. But yeah, so my whole thing was just like, damn, this shit is only like, if I get the chicken tenders and some fries, like that's like $4 compared to like $11.
Or you can go to Wendy's and get a $5
or yeah, exactly. Like you start like thinking, you're just like, oh man, like I should just get this because it's cheaper and it's good and this and that, and like you just end up being like, damn. So yeah, so I just wanted to like kind of like coach them as well as coach myself on like just being okay with eating what you want to eat, but also just being mindful on what it is that you're eating. And
I think if you're okay eating what you want to eat, fine, but keep in mind that if you're gonna eat crappy, you're gonna feel crappy. If you're gonna eat good, then you're gonna feel better, and that takes discipline and it takes time. But like once your body starts realizing it, you know, like it's magic after. It's magic for yourself. Like nobody else is gonna see it or feel it. It's you. It's within. It comes from within.
Let them know, Marii. Your hair is long.
I'm trying to let it grow again. I cut it. I donated it 3 years ago, and I had it like this short, and I haven't cut it since. I mean, I cut the ends, like trim them, but it's long. Yeah. I'm not donating it again though.
I'm definitely letting mine grow as well.
Yeah, you cut your hair short too.
I did it like right here. Now mine was 2 years ago. And I've been really happy because I haven't ironed it or anything. So
can't
I
say
know
the
you
same.
can't. I know.
Can't relate.
Can't relate.
If there's one thing that I need to leave the house, it's with my hair done. I could do my makeup in the car, but my hair has to be done.
You know, ever since I stopped ironing my hair, I haven't found what the definition of doing my hair is with it just wavy. Like, because it'll literally just
brush it?
Yeah, I brush it. Like, I brush it, and then, like, I might put, like, a little part in it. But then besides that, like, I don't, like I don't do anything else. Like, I'll either put it in a ponytail or half up, half down. Or I do the I love buns. Buns are my thing. Buns will save you.
What kind of buns?
Girl. The ones on my hair.
I like buns too.
The honey buns that they have at Nosberry. I know that's not what you're talking about. But
guys,
okay.
Buns are just well rounded.
Nice little pair of buns, doesn't hurt anybody.
All right, I'm
done. Okay, so something that I did want to talk to you about as well, because you've watched this, but I haven't, which is the show from Netflix, which is Rhythm and Flow. Now, Kristen's in the back, like, super excited, too. It's funny because I'm, like, a super hip-hop head, and I haven't seen the show yet, and she's not, but she has seen the show, and she's recommended it to me. So, I guess, what's your favorite aspect of the show?
Okay, so everybody's seen like American Idol or America's Got Talent, but like this is different because it's you know, those things are like for just if you could sing, like if you have a good voice. Like rapping is different. Like that's what I've learned from it, because you said it, like I'm not like super hip hop head. I'm not in touch with like the music or like even the old music. Like I might have heard a song, but you know, like I'm not super familiar with it. But this show, like the fact that you have like people coming up with things, and apparently the show was filmed like in a month span. So just the fact that those artists were able to come up with those lyrics and things that like make sense, that when you like sit down and listen to them, it's like, oh shit, like wow. Like that goes with the song. You know, like they contributed with other R&B artists and they put rap parts in it. So like all of those things to me was like, it was like a wow factor. It was amazing. It was something I had never noticed before. And honestly, like I appreciate the art a lot more, actually, not a little bit more, a lot more, because lately I've been texting you and like, oh, like what's a good album I can hear, or have you heard this? And then you're like, you should listen to her whole. Yeah, like that's been happening.
Yeah, that was with Danny Lay.
Yeah, Danny Lay.
Yeah.
That girl.
Yeah, no, she's dope. We've talked about her on the podcast before and how she's like from Miami, and I was telling Maddie that before the show, I was telling her how I thought that at one point I could have had her on the show, but then she got signed to Def Jam, which is actually one of the oldest.
But don't get discouraged.
Oh no,
She can be here one day.
she can definitely be here one day. But Def Jam is actually one of the longest running hip hop labels, like in the history of hip hop.
Damn.
Yeah, so she got signed to that label. And when she got signed to that label, like they took her career to like the next level. You know what? It's actually funny. She went viral because of the Kiki. The Kiki. She was.
That's her?
Well, no, she
Okay.
was one of the first people to do the car. Like she was one of those. Like yeah, she
Oh.
did that like really really cool, and like Drake, it caught Drake's attention, and it just went everywhere. And then after that, she basically like used that to kind of like help her with her career, and she like worked with Prince and like directed a video of his, and yeah, no, it was kind of crazy. She's been dancing her whole life, and she's really
Yeah,
dope.
Her video with Chris Brown, they're literally in a dance.
Yeah,
in
it's like a
studio.
dance kind of thing.
So
It's
cool.
really cute. That song actually, I think it went platinum if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, cause I saw
Okay.
I think I saw it on Chris Brown's Instagram. But yeah, so that's really cool about Rhythm and Flow. For me, I liked the fact that you watched it because I was just like, oh, great. Like I know that the whole premise of the show is hip hop and hip hop
Yeah.
artists, and then you have like Cardi, you have
Yeah, to be honest, Cardi, like when I saw it, you know, when you like watch things on Netflix and they give you a little preview.
yeah.
When I saw it and I saw Cardi B, dude, I watched Cardi B's Instagram and I just laughed so hard. So I was like, dude, I have to watch this.
Yeah.
So that's why Christian and I ended up watching it. But I mean, it was obviously more than just Cardi B. But
Yeah,
she is funny.
because Cardi was on it, Chance the Rapper was who
T.I.
Ti, and I
Yo,
think like some other
yeah.
people came too. I know Nipsey was on there,
Mhm.
and just like a whole bunch of different artists, and then the guy who won, which is D Smoke, right?
Yeah.
That's Sir's brother. Do you have I put you on to Sir? I should.
So I heard I saw a video of him playing with his brother with D Smoke. D Smoke was playing the piano and he was singing. And it was at some awards like the Soul Awards or something.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I
yeah,
saw
yeah,
that.
yeah. I remember that.
That was not too long ago and it was like impressive.
Yeah.
A really nice voice.
Sir, I love him. His voice is well, I mean, you heard his voice, but his songs and like what he writes about, and it's interesting because his lyrics, you wouldn't know that he's been married for 10 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's been married for 10 years, and that's like, to me, I was just like, he's been married for 10 years. Like, how does he feel the way that he feels, or how does he write the way that he writes? Because in some of the songs, like
They're love songs. I'm not familiar with his work, but
yeah,
are
they're like love songs. They're kind of like there's
you know
they're
why?
what? R&B singer.
But you know why he writes like that probably? I'm assuming here.
Go, give me your assumption.
Because I mean, I feel like if you're in a good marriage, then you should always be in love with your significant other, and like those feelings shouldn't go away. Like they should just evolve and keep growing, or like come from a different angle or something like that. Like
Yeah,
you gotta
no.
keep that alive.
He's definitely not talking about love like that though. He's talking about like
Okay.
he's like there's this one song called The Recipe. It's one of my favorite songs off of the project off of his project, and someone called it the most nicest curve. So it's basically the song is called The Recipe, and the reason is because he tells the girl that he's like fucking around with that she's not a part of the recipe.
Oof.
Yeah. So but at the same time, that's something that I like about writers, is that writers can do that. Writers can tap into anything. They can tap into something that probably happened to them when they were younger, like 16, 17, 18, like whatever, because a lot of the things that happened like when I was in high school, and even like probably got up till like I was 24, a lot of those experiences are the reasons why I don't act the way I acted in those ages, because I learned that you're not supposed to act in that way, or the pain, or like when you break up with somebody and like that just hurt. Like I remember like my first really bad breakup and being cheated on and remembering how that felt. So when I hear like someone talk to me about them being cheated, like I'm like I could totally relate because I totally felt that way.
Yeah.
Like maybe it wasn't as an adult or maybe it wasn't recently, but I can from that pain kind of like
Yeah, you're
relate.
Yeah, you're sympathetic.
Yeah.
You're sympathetic. It's sympathy, like you understand how that person is feeling. But what other crazy shit did you do?
Who, me? I mean, we got time. So the rhythm and flow, that was something that I wanted to talk to you about. Okay, what would you say was like the biggest thing that it taught you about hip hop, besides like I guess like the whole writing process and all that stuff? Like what else did the show teach you about hip hop?
Okay, so I'm gonna be super like stereotypical here, but the reason that I never really liked hip hop was because like in my head, like it was just like just people talking or cursing like really fast, right? So just knowing that it's not just that, like it's real, like you just said, experiences, things that have happened in their lives, the artists' lives, that like it was like, okay, like next time that I put like 99 Jams or 103.5 The Beat, like I'm gonna like not just change it because they're rapping really fast and I don't know what they're saying, like like be a little more open-minded in that aspect. Also like the stress level, like I guess because the show, it was like just 1 month, and like the stress level of having to come up with things like in less than a week, like a hit, you got to come with the hit song in like 1 week. How do you do that?
It's a lot of talent.
Where do you get your inspiration in 1 week? Like what do you have to do to get inspired in 1 week? Like it's not in a four wall hotel room.
Yeah,
like you got to get out there and do something has to like bring it out.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about hip hop is the like putting words together that sometimes are a lot. Like it's like a lot of words, because like they have the whole bars thing. So it's like, okay, so one verse can have it can be as little as 8 bars, it can be 16 bars, it can be 24 bars. There's some rappers that even go more than that. And so you just, when you start breaking that down and you think about how they're putting these words together and how they rhyme and how they're telling a story.
And not just that, like Cardi said something on one of the episodes. She was like, oh, like I want you to like touch me. And like she didn't really mean like touch me. She meant like I want your words to touch me, to make me feel your experiences.
Yeah.
And like that's what I understood of it. Like you do that, and you do that through rap too. Like it's not just, I don't know, whatever type of music, like so that's what I liked about it.
So there's this one song, I'm gonna send it to you. It's a Mos Def and Talib Kweli song, and it's called Beautiful. And when I tell you that the way that these two men put words together, because they're talking about their love for a girl, like individually they're talking about like how like the beauty within this girl, and like how they don't have any colors to describe or like words to describe on how like she is and the beauty, and how how her attraction, they compare it to the ocean.
Somehow they still describe it.
Yeah, like and they describe how the hold that she has on him is like, they compare it to like the ocean, and the ocean and the sand, and like it grabbed me by the hand, and like
send it to me.
Yeah, like it's just so beautiful. Like you hear it. And I remember like being in high school around the age where I mean I've been listening to hip hop since I was like, I can't remember. Like I've been listening to it probably since I was like 6 or 5 or something like that.
Your dad was probably DJing, playing hip hop while you were in your mom's belly, and you were already listening.
I probably was, or my aunts or my uncles or my cousins. Like it was around me, but it wasn't until I got older that like you start like finding what it is that you like. But I remember like when I was like 16 or 17, like I got into like this hole of just like like listening to music and like going back into like the hip hop history and like falling in love with it and being like, oh my god, like these people can like really put these words together. It's funny because Hav always shares a story that I was the one who taught him how to rap. Did you guys know that?
No. Get out. Get out.
Yeah.
I want to know the story.
Okay, so
Have you said it on the podcast?
I think only Hav has said it. Oh, okay. So this is what happened. So I had like this really like dope ass boombox. You wasn't shit if you didn't have a big ass boombox with two speakers that had at least a 5 CD little changer with a cassette player that can record.
But you had it.
I had it. Yeah. No, I've always had I've always had a stereo. I've always had a microphone. I've always had like speakers. We've in this house like we've always had something that you can play music. If it wasn't in my room, it was in the house. My dad's DJ system, he would always have it
All
out.
right, get to the story.
I got you. So one day we're listening to Next Episode by you. That's why I love it so much. The Next Episode by Snoop Dogg and
Oh.
I have 2 videos of me acting a fool when that song came on when we were on the cruise because it's one of my favorite songs and it's because of this story. So we're in my room and the song comes on or whatever, and Hav is just like, oh, I can't do it, like I can't rap it. And I'm just like, what do you mean? Like you just gotta go with the beat. And then I just started freestyling, and I just started freestyling.
You started freestyling?
Yeah, I started.
Get out.
She went on for like the whole beat.
Yo, I need to hear this.
What do
I'ma
you
go
mean?
on.
Yeah, I can't freestyle. I was like 11. Yeah, I was like 11 when that happened.
Exactly. You should be better now.
I haven't practiced. There's times in my head I'm like, "Oh, you killing it, girl," and then I do it out loud, and I'm like, "Nah." But yeah, so I was just like, "No, you just gotta go with the beat, and you just like, just go."
Say stuff.
Yeah, just say stuff and just make it rhyme. And then he did, and so
He
yeah,
did it.
Yeah, I did it first, and then he did it after.
Damn. How did you feel, Hav?
He was just like,
Struck gold, baby.
Oh, he struggled.
he says he's just like he was like, if she could do it, I could do it. And then because I've always told him that too. Like since we were kids, I would always tell him, I'm like, if I could do it, like you can do it. You can probably do it better than me.
Hashtag big sister.
Yeah. Man. I mean, for me, we've always had each other. So for me, it's always been like pushing him to become a better person, a better man, and just yeah.
That's so crazy. Your sibling relationship is so much different than my sibling relationship.
I know. Well, you have a sister, so it's different.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be different if I had a sister, because not that there's more competition, but it's kind of like
It does feel like a competition.
you know.
At least when we were younger. Maybe not now because like, you're older and wiser, but
Yeah.
yeah, mature.
Yeah.
But when we were younger, for sure it felt like a competition.
I mean, I low key compete with him.
Yeah, but it depends, like some competition is good, some competition is not that good.
Yeah, the competition that I'm with him right now is I want to do more 5Ks than him this year. Because he came home last year with so many medals. I was like,
Ooh,
I
Nadia's jealous.
Yeah, I was like, I want medals. I only got 1 last year. So I'm already, by the time that the visual drops for this episode, I've already ran my first 5K of the year. So,
Ooh.
well,
Is
my
Hav
first,
running it?
yeah, he signed up with me. We're actually doing Zoe's Winter Groove 5K. So it's a race.
What about Worth the Run?
Oh yeah, we came up with a running name, guys. If you guys want to join, it's called
Worth the wait, worth the run.
Yes! That's the name of our team. That's the name of our team. The name of our team
That's it.
for the
You got Christian
listeners.
hooked.
For the listeners that would like to join, it's Worth the Run. It's our running team that we came up with. Our first official race is going to be this weekend. Obviously you don't have to join or anything, but yeah, we're definitely starting the running team. We've been talking about it, and we're also going to be starting like a whole like fitness thing, which is what was it? Worthy worthy workouts?
Wasn't it worth the workout?
Was it worth the workout? Well,
Makes
yeah, because
sense.
we want to do that as well. We want to like incorporate fitness into the company and just like grow that as well. But yeah, so by the time that this episode drops on YouTube, we were already ran my first 5K. So that's the competition I have with Hav. But yeah, so that's the story of when Hav learned how. This is like the cutest thing ever. But yeah, so that's how basically like Hav started rapping. But then yeah, so that's why I love that song so much.
Damn. Now Hav out here making
hits,
gold.
making golds for, and then me in the back just being like super scared. Like,
get out, you have a whole podcast.
It's not the same. That's why I shout out the artists all the time. Like shout out to all the artists that listen. Because listen, I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how you guys put words together and like just make it into like.
But you know what's funny, that artists put words together and you know they rap, they sing, right? But you come up with something and you just talk about it, and like not everybody can just sit here and be like, hey, this your girl Adi 3000 blah 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 blah. Like that's not easy for everybody.
Yeah, so
everybody has their own thing.
Yeah. That's why I let Hav do his thing. You could be the rapper of the family. You could be the rapper / singer. Because I'm not to brag, but I can sing too. But
yo, you don't gotta tell me twice. I like karaoke.
I know you do. I can sing. So for me, like that would be something that like if I were to really get into music and making my own music, that's what I would do. Is I would sing. I wouldn't rap. Even though I feel like I have a good rapping voice too. So I might just have to drop the project, Marii.
I'm in.
I might just have to do it and just do it.
Have you ever need anybody singing? Get your sister. Get your sister.
It's funny because there's times where like I'll be in the car and like I act like no one's listening to me, but like he'll be in the car, and so yeah, I'm like one day he's gonna ask me to be on the song.
Well, Christian,
and then I'm gonna say no.
And I when he was in North Carolina and we would like drive a lot, we would just sit in the car, play music, and start singing, both of us. That was fun.
You guys are so cute. But and he plays the guitar too,
and the piano,
and the piano. Dang, the piano is not easy. I used to be able to play the piano when it was like the keyboard that would light up and you would just follow it. Yeah, that's as far as I went with the piano.
He's laughing at you.
I know, he's just like, puh, amateur. Okay, so what is our time, Hav? Is there something that you wanted to talk about? You've been listening to the podcast. What would you want to bring to our listeners? I think you might be coming back again, Marii.
I am. You don't gotta tell me twice.
I know.
You see this gold mic? It has my name on it.
It suits you. It looks good on you.
What? Don't look at me like that.
You know your wife is super confident. Yeah, so what is something
confidence right there.
Yeah.
Confidence, that's something to talk about.
Oh, okay. So yeah, talk about it.
Well, like, you know, like this whole thing, like you doing your podcast, like you're confident in what you're doing. Artists, when they rap, they're confident in what they're doing. You know, like I like talking to people. I like talking to you. So like I'm confident in talking to you, even though there's a camera right there. And that's a little, believe it or not, I'm like camera shy. I danced for so many years and I have no problem dancing on a stage. But then like
or
somebody
dancing in general.
Yeah, or that. But like if somebody would bring a camera and be like, oh hey, can like I interview you, I would like melt. I would be like, you have a drink with you? Because
do you have a drink with you?
Yeah. And that it's funny because that happened. I went to an FIU alumni event one day and I think I had like maybe like 2 glasses of champagne and a glass of wine. And then somebody came up to me and they're like, oh, would you like to be interviewed and answer a question or two? And then I said, okay. But I literally had 3 drinks inside me. If it wasn't for that, I don't think I would have done it because they had this bright ass light in front of my face. And I was like, oh my God, I'm sweaty. Like, do I look okay? Is my lipstick good? Like, you know, you start thinking about all these things because you're a girl and girls think about these things. And whatever, like... do. The drink gave me the confidence.
I mean, I've said before on this podcast that I am not sober.
Wait, you're not sober right now?
No.
Oh, damn.
I smoked a little before.
I'm super sober.
Good job. Clap it up for Marii. But yeah, I mean,
confidence.
Yeah, because now I'm like thinking, I'm like, I just like snitched on myself and I look like I can't do shit sober. I can do the show sober. I just smoke every day. So
there goes
that. Like I can do it sober, but after my run, I smoked a little bit while I was stretching, to let that out.
You gotta relax.
Yeah, and that relaxes me. But yeah, so confidence. As far as this goes, this for me is very easy. When I first started, I remember being nervous, but only because it was my first time. It was my first time recording. It was my first time even having like a full-blown conversation with this person in front of me.
Even things like, I mean, do you remember when you told me like that you wanted to apply to a credit card?
Yeah.
And there was no confidence there
at all.
And I told you, and I'm like, Claudia, I'm like, just do it. I'm like, the worst they could say is no. I'm like, when I first got a credit card, I'll never forget it. My first credit card was a $200 credit limit. That's it, $200. And then like 6 months later, oh, increase $500. Oh, increase $1,000. And like that's how it keeps going. And like in the beginning, you don't have the confidence to like think like whatever, like I'm gonna start at zero and work my way up. But that's how everything always is. Like if you don't try, you're never gonna get up there. Like with this new job, like I just started, like I'm like really confident that I'm gonna make it, to higher things. I'm answering the phones, but that's okay because you got to start somewhere, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're okay being confident in whatever you do, whether it's picking up the phone, flipping a burger, whatever, like do it, and like that confidence shows, and you portray it with the things that you're doing in your work, and people see that.
Yeah, for sure. I know when I first started, I was comfortable because for me, it was very like, I knew this is what I wanted to do. So the confidence was there. But for me, there's times where, that I can be very shy or very to myself. Like when you see me talking in front of a camera for an hour, sometimes an hour and a half or whatever, like it's easy for one to believe like, oh, she's like that like all the time and she's like very out there, and
definitely not.
Yeah.
When you first met my other friends, you were super quiet. You were super quiet. I almost felt like, damn, Claudia, like what do I gotta do to get you to talk? Like that.
I know.
But I know like that it would happen like on its own, because like you can't force things, like even though I try.
I know that I did notice that. I did notice that with your friends, and I'm the same way with Steph's friends, with my sister's friends. Like I'm the same way. Like in the beginning, like I'll like hey, like how are you? Like I'm very
Small
like
talk.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, how are you? And then like it takes a while even for like me to like still open up, and that's something that I'm working on, because I don't always want to be like that. Like I don't want it to be like, oh, why doesn't she want to talk to me? Because then people find out that I have a podcast, and then they're like, what the fuck is wrong with her? What does she talk about? She's not even talking to us. Like and so it's like, I have to really work on that. But
yeah,
it's different. Like I call this the on switch. Like as soon as like
the camera's on.
Yeah, like as soon as I know that I'm already like in podcast mode, I'm already in like, all right, we have to like, yeah, we have to be talking for an hour, whether it's by yourself or with somebody else. Like there's no way that there can be any dead air, so you have to figure it out. When you're with a person, I feel like it's different. When you're like, for me at least.
But when you're talking with a person and you stay quiet, that whole dead air thing aren't those like those moments, those like awkward moments?
I just want to leave. I'm like, can I just like leave?
Like what are you gonna talk about now?
Like, oh my god. And then like my coworker today, because I saw her, she was across the street in a restaurant. Like I was on one side of the street and she was on the other side, and I saw her and I swore that it was her, but I didn't say anything. I didn't go up to say hi or anything like that, right? And then so I tell her, I'm like, hey, by any chance were you and so? And she was just like, yeah, and this and that. She starts telling me like her whole Saturday, and I was just like, I just wanted to know if that was you. That was it. That was
you
it.
got the whole
But I know I
spiel.
got the whole spiel, and it was nice because it's good to talk to your coworkers and
talk
shit.
or listen, because she was doing the
Yeah,
talking.
like listen, and then so I like snuck in. I'm like, oh yeah, well I run by there, and then I run, and then she was just like, oh well, next time say hi, and I'm like, next time say hi.
What do I look like to you?
Like why?
I'm running
No.
away.
What was it that you said that the only thing that you're running is late? Your mind is running away.
No. The only thing I'm running is my mouth.
Is you. Dang, that too. But yeah, so that's something that like, and then I'm confident when like I'm talking to people. That's not where I lack the confidence in or why I'm quiet. For me, it's just a matter of just like I don't know you. I don't know you. Like I don't know you, and like I do want to get to know you, but I don't have the pressure of a camera in front of me. You know?
Yeah, but I guess like that's how you are. Because me, when I don't know you, like I'll just start asking you questions. Like I'll try to talk to you and like find out more about you, and like not in a nosy way, like in a way like that I'm trying to get to know you because like I want to know if there's something that we have in common that I could like expand on and then continue the conversation, because that's how I am.
Yeah. You're curious. I'm curious too, though. For me, like, I don't know.
I'm curious about people's lives.
Yeah, I'm curious about like.
I really am. I know that. Christian has told me that.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here.
That's why you're the sunshine. Because you want to know. Yeah, you're just like, whoa, and because that's something that I have noticed about you too, is that when we went to Disney and we were with like Carlos's family.
Oh, I
you
spoke
were
to all of them.
Yeah, you were having conversations that I had yet to had them, and it was like my second date with them, and I'm like, you need to be better, Claudia. Like you need to be better.
Claudia was like trying to like run away. Like, Maddie, where are you? Do you remember that? I'm so glad you're here.
I stay doing that. Oh my God. I stay doing that. Like, oh my God. When is she gonna get here? When is she gonna get here? Because then like Audie like unleashes to the next level, like Claudia.
Yeah.
But that's something that I need to work on. Speaking of like working on, because I just got an agenda. I feel like I'm late on getting an agenda.
I haven't gotten one, so you're good. You're early to me.
But cool. But I just got an agenda because I do want to become a lot more organized. And I say this all the time that I get an agenda. I'm like, I don't want to just have the agenda and not use it.
That always happens to me.
Always. And then it doesn't matter how many fucking stickers I get. It doesn't matter if I get colored pens.
You don't even use the stickers.
Color pens. If I don't understand. So I'm making it a point this year to at least like once a week like schedule or like put in a timer or like an alarm clock that is just like, okay, this is when I want to do it on Sundays. But then sometimes like brunch happens, and then after brunch something else happens, and then you're coming home like around 9-10 o'clock, and then who wants to agenda at 9-10 o'clock, especially if you had quite a few to drink. Like you're not even gonna remember like what do I gotta do this week. So that's
where'd you get your agenda?
I got it on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got it on Amazon. I actually ordered it today and got it today.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah.
Bro, Amazon's on point.
Hell yeah. And I also got a budget kind of planner as well.
That's good.
Yes, because that's something else that I want to take care of as well. Not that I overspend or that I don't have money.
Just to be mindful. It's
just to be more mindful, because I've noticed that the past maybe like 3 months, I know I have eaten out a lot more than normal.
Yeah.
And so I want to like kind of like keep track of that and kind of like see those spending habits, and then maybe that'll push me to be a little more mindful of what I'm eating and start cooking again. Because like I cook, but it's not as often as it was. Like before, it would be like I was meal prepping like at least twice a week. And it would be like the breakfast, like the how you were saying, like the egg whites with the protein or the spinach or all the good stuff that you're supposed to be eating. And then now I just find myself like I feel like I don't have time.
I had Taco Bell for dinner. What's up?
And so that's something that I also wanted to share with everybody, that it's not too late to go ahead and start with getting your planner and organizing yourself and setting a day that you're going to just write in your agenda, kind of have what your game plan is going to be, because if you don't plan, then you plan to fail.
Yep.
And that's something that like I said, I felt like I was always like, I don't have time for that. But it's because I didn't know what I had time for, so I would just do whatever I wanted. It's kind of the same thing with the food. So I want to like be a little bit more organized with that, be more organized with my finances. So yes, I also want to do a vision board. I haven't done mine. I haven't done one in a minute, actually.
I haven't done one.
I have.
Want to do a vision board together?
We should do it.
Okay, I'm down.
It's a cheaper option. Instead of going out,
yeah, that's
we can do a vision board. I'm free Saturday. What's up? This past Saturday, you're going boxing?
Oh no! So the fight Saturday night.
Oh,
but Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday could have. We can vision board and then go watch the fight. I just invited myself to their plan.
Oh, it's okay. Shamil did the same thing.
Oh, Shamil's in town?
Yeah, she's coming this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Andrea's going I was going to tell you after the podcast, but since the podcast wants to hear.
Yeah, I don't know where it is, though. But, oh, yeah, and Andrea got her master's, so shout out to Andrea.
Yeah.
Can we get a round of applause?
That's goals right there.
Yeah, with her master's. I love her. But okay, so what were we talking about?
The agenda.
The agenda.
This is what happens all the time.
Yeah. You should see when we're working out and it's time to count. Like, if I'm with her, I'm never counting. I never count when I'm with her. And
then I'll ask her, I'll be like, are you counting? And she's like, no. And I'm like, whatever. Like, let's just keep going.
Let's just do, what is it, like 10 more? And it was like, we already did probably like 5 or 10.
Yeah.
So the agenda and like just getting yourself organized and just finding time for that and being confident in writing what it is that you want and what you want the best out of your week.
One more thing. I heard, I think it was on the news, that supposedly January 20th is like the saddest day of the year because it's the day that people give up like all their New Year's resolutions. Not everyone. Obviously, like there's people that continue with it, but it's like the people were like, oh, like I haven't seen results. Like it's been 3 weeks and like that's it. I'm giving up. Like, guys, don't give up. Go buy an agenda. It's not too late to get an agenda. I haven't gotten one. I'm going to go get one. I'm going to go order it right now. Get an agenda. Be confident. And, like, don't give up. Like, if you haven't seen results yet and whatever it is that your resolutions were, like, do it. Like, just continue.
January.
It's only January. You didn't even give yourself a month.
Yeah, and then the first 2 weeks of January don't really count.
Exactly. Because you're just getting back into the flow of things, so they don't really count. So actually, you're starting at the perfect time.
Yeah, you're right on time, actually. After further investigation and, just figuring things out. Because, I definitely, I noticed that not that I was getting to that point, but I was noticing, like, oh, man, the first 2 weeks of January, like, I was behind on work. I was like, I felt like I was still coming back from vacation. Then traffic started happening. And, like,
it's not your time. It's God's time. That's it.
That's a whole word, girl.
That's it.
That is a whole word. Okay, so we have 5 more minutes left.
That's it?
I know. This has been quite an experience. I wanted to give a shout out to one of our sponsors. Shout out to shout out to Annie & Co. Candles. You can head on over to their website, which is AnnieYNCO.com, and also our other sponsors, His and Hers Hair Studio, who actually they just got married. They got married in Vegas.
Wow.
So
spontaneous.
Ashley and Carlos, shout out to them. If you want to go ahead and make an appointment with Ashley, you can make it at glamgodmiami.glossgenius.com. And like I've said before, she specializes in coily, curly, wavy, natural hair. So ladies, for those of you who are trying to maintain your natural curls, natural coily hair, natural waves, you can definitely hit her up and she'll take care of your hair like it needs to. She also does other things. And then we have Carlos, who does the haircut. Hav is looking hella fresh, and it's because of Carlos hooking him up. So make sure that you check them out. And yes. Okay, so I feel like there's something else that I did want to talk to you about.
Do you know what it is?
I'm coming up with it as we speak.
Because I come up with something else real quick. No, not that quick. Not that quick.
Okay, so we talked about confidence, which is something that I'm happy we did because something that it brought to me now that I'm thinking about, I did want to talk about this, was the credit. So the credit cards. So as when I was I wish that my first credit card only gave me a limit of $200 because my first credit card gave me a limit of $1,000 and I was like 20 and I had no clue
What to do.
I never learned like how to manage credit. I never
Yeah.
like really
The thing is that, like, when I was really young, my dad, and I told you this when I was telling you about getting a credit card, like, my dad would tell me, like, how the credit cards worked. And he's like, like, it's not money that you have, but it's money that you're going to pay back by the end of the month or whenever you got your statement. And you always want to pay that back because if not, you get interest charges. And, like, you don't want to be paying money to people, like, just because you're borrowing money. Like, just pay it off and you're Gucci. Like, that's it.
For sure. So I ended up messing up my credit, and one of the reasons why I wasn't confident was because I messed up my credit, and I felt like my credit was horrible.
Yeah.
So then after a while of fixing it and like working on it and taking your advice, because that's what I would do. I would like spend what it was
I
on my
gave you
credit
a
card.
lot of advice.
You did. You really did when it came down to that. And that was one of the things that I would do. Like, well, I still do it. Like, I'll spend the money and I'll literally just pay it off. Like, I'll just pay it off, or I'll pay like a good amount of it. And then just kind of like leave everything like with the 30% usage and all of that stuff. Like, and I've noticed that my credit has gone up. Got accepted for a credit card that I was like, I never thought I was gonna get accepted for. And then when I got the notification, like when I got the email, I was just like, they're sending this to me because they already know I'm approved. Like, and then so that was a really good feeling, and I'm like, man, I remember just like Kroos about to be out of here.
Relax.
And just like being like now, like I'm a lot more confident in when I'm.
That's so true though, because if my dad wouldn't have prepared me the way he did, and like every time, I'm pretty sure, I don't recall any time that I've applied to a credit card that I've been denied, ever.
Oh wow.
So like, like that confidence, like whenever I need to apply to a card, it's like, okay, whatever, like let's just apply.
Yeah, they're gonna give it to me.
Yeah, and it's like some people don't have that confidence, and I didn't know that until like you told me your story, and I was like, damn, like because my dad has gone through like bankruptcy kind of things too.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
So like he's been at the point where you were, but in his head it was different. He would say like, well, I have to apply to see like like where I can start again. And like that's true, like that's good that he had that mindset, because like his mindset was like, at some point I have to start again building my credit, and if you don't ever apply, then you're never gonna know.
Yeah.
So like what's the worst answer you can get? No.
Yeah.
And then you just wait a couple months and do it again.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and give people a couple of tips then on how they can, like, because that's something too that I feel like that's a New Year's resolution that people also do as well. It's like they do the fitness, they do their finances, they want to build their credit up. So one of the ones for me that I took from you is just basically paying like as much as your balance as you can.
Yeah. So I mean, if you spend something, let's say you have a $1,000 credit card limit, and this month I spent $300. Just make sure that whatever you're spending, by the time you have to pay the statement off next month, you have that money in your bank. Like don't be like, oh yeah, I got money to blow in the bank, and then you don't pay off your credit card. Like that's how you get.
And then it keeps growing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you don't have $1,000 anymore, baby girl.
Exactly.
You got about $150. And then you probably want to go to Sephora or someplace, and then you think like, oh, because I have this and I don't have to pay it off right now, like I don't have to pay it right now, put it on my credit. That's something.
And once you start doing that, I think that's honestly, like, if you're starting, that's the best advice you can do. Like, just make sure you can pay off what you're gonna spend.
Yeah.
Once you get into the flow of paying off and like whatever you're spending, then that's when I feel like you can go to the next level and actually like owe money on a credit card, but know still that you're gonna have to pay that off. Like,
Yeah.
like say like, oh, I'm moving and I'm buying furniture, and furniture is not cheap. It's expensive.
Pretty
So you
expensive,
know
yeah.
you're gonna spend money. You know, you're gonna put down money on furniture. Probably cash you don't have, so you're gonna use a credit card. And
Or
like,
apply for the credit that they have at the furniture
right,
store.
or apply at the furniture store, because what is that gonna do? It's just gonna help build your credit more.
Mhm.
Get a car, finance it. It's gonna build your credit. When you buy a house, that's all gonna be like beneficial to that.
Yeah.
So like you gotta start small and grow.
It's like a think of it as like a resume.
Yeah, a financial
Financial resume. Because for me, when I first started, I just had what I did, I guess for people who are trying to like build their credit that like was bad, for me, what I did was that I got the Credit Karma app. So with the Credit Karma app, it basically tells you what your score is, so you know what your score is. And for me, I was always scared to check my score. I was like,
you can't be scared to check that. Like,
It
that's your lifeline here.
that was like the scale, like when you don't want to see how much you weigh after a couple of a holiday, when you don't want to step on that scale. Yeah, that was like that was like my thing. Like, I could step on the scale, it's not a problem, but to check my credit score, I would be so scared. And then I remember seeing something on Instagram about this, I think it was like a dude who he was like super cute, and he talked about like he posted like on his Instagram.
That's how they lure you in.
He posted like this thing on his Instagram about like his credit score going up. And I was just like, oh wow, that's attractive, that like he even cares about his credit score.
That's attractive, or he's attractive?
Both. Both, baby girl, both. And so I noticed that, and I was just like, oh wow, not that I care, but when you think about it, like, okay, when I in a relationship, like, I would want to know that my partner's credit score is good, or at least that they're working towards making it better, you know, because eventually, like, if this becomes something more, we're gonna want to you know, either get an apartment, have to get the furniture.
Yep.
And if you
know what's funny, my I think it was like my social studies teacher in high school, my senior year, he used to tell all his students, man, just remembering that guy's funny, but he used to tell all his students, like, whenever y'all date somebody, make sure you know their credit first. Like that. Yeah, it's important. You don't want to date no broke nigga.
Heard that. Heard that. At least a good credit, like, damn. But yeah, so I got the Credit Karma app, and with that app, I was able to kind of see what I owed, what would help my credit score get better. One of the things that I did was that the $1,000 credit card that I first got when I was like 20 years old, that I maxed out and didn't pay back and got sent to collections and all that stuff, I paid that one off.
Nice.
So as soon as I paid that one off, my points went up a little bit.
Nice.
And then I think I paid another one. And then like I made it a point to pay off what I owed. And I remember just being like, bro, I'm paying for fucking credit cards that are like 5 years, 6 years old, or even longer, because I wasn't like, I would like max these credit cards out and wouldn't care about them. Like, it wasn't even like I would just not pay them.
You thought that it was just like free money.
Yeah,
because it could seem like that.
Yeah, I would just like not pay them. Like, and I think every single one that I would get, that's what I would do. I would just get them. I would max them out. I would go to concerts. I would pay concerts with them. We get the best seats.
That's how you would go to concerts,
girl. I saw Jay-Z on credit. I paid that credit card off though, so like a year ago, mind you. That was like in no 444. No, that was like recently. I paid that credit card was like 2009. That was when Kingdom Come came out, and like after 444 is when I paid it off. 444 is an album by Jay-Z that he talks about like a lot about like financial things, and like because he makes a lot of money, so he
look at that. You can tie hip hop back into financials.
You definitely can. I mean, a lot of hip hop artists are businessmen.
Of course,
you know, they're entrepreneurs. You know, because they were entrepreneurs before. They were slanging. You know what I noticed is that these past 3 episodes have Marii probably won't get this, but they've all been like Jeezy. They've all been Jeezy title names. Because he has the 103 too.
103.
Yeah.
You know that 3 is my lucky number?
It is.
Yeah.
Well, you'll look at that.
This is episode 103.
And isn't he born in March?
No, February.
It's Carlos. You know Carlos's birthday is 3/3, March 3rd.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
A number that I've noticed is kind of mine is like 222. I always see that time like 222, 222.
Really?
Yeah, and then like at work my number is 22. There's like different things that I've noticed that like 22 just always pops up.
You gotta play that in the lottery.
I should. I don't gamble though. Okay, so yeah, so with the Credit Karma app, you learn what it is that it has, and then you kind of like track everything, and then there they'll let you know what credit cards are good to apply for, as far as like what the what
they recommend.
They recommend credit cards that have like a good acceptance. Like that they'll accept you. Like, okay, like based on what you've been doing, this credit card will be good for you. And they're more than likely then to accept you and say yes to you. Approve you. There you go. They're higher approval rates. And so that also helps as well, because you're just like, oh, wow, okay, so this credit card, and then they teach you like this one does it. You don't have to pay an annual fee. You don't have the interest for 9 months, which is going to help you because you don't have to pay even more.
Exactly.
And so it would just always break down. I'm sure there's other applications that help you with your credit, but that's just one that I use, and I noticed that it helped me tremendously. And so those are the tips that I would like give to someone who's trying to build their credit
back up again. Yeah.
And even if you have good credit, I feel like that's a really good thing to have anyway, because you just never know what's gonna pop up into your credit, like, because sometimes like you don't know.
If you have good credit, make sure like you keep tabs on all the credit lines, the credit bureau lines, because somebody might be trying to steal your identity. You don't even know it.
Exactly.
'Cause that happened to me when I just turned 18.
Oh wow. Yeah. Dang.
Mm-hmm.
I wish a motherfucker would use my credit when I was 18.
Don't play.
Okay, so is there anything else, or I think we're done. This was fun. Marii,
we are done.
Someone told me that you were a great aspect of the show, so I was just like, let me bring my best friend back again.
Whoever said that, shout out to you.
For real. I mean, well, obviously we would always talk about having you on, and then like when I had you on episode 100, I was just like, this feels way too right, like. And then because I've mentioned it sometimes, like I'll be like, man, like I would love to bring a girl on, and this and that, and she's always like on the side, like. So yeah. I'm gonna have to steal you for a couple more episodes, so I just want to say thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me again.
I appreciate you.
I can't wait for next time.
And you brought my nephew, which made me very happy, because I love him with all my heart.
Say something. Speak.
He gonna be on the mic and spit some Snoop Dogg bars.
Yo, it's Snoop Dogg.
It's the dog pound. Ay. I was about to freestyle, but no. All right, guys. Well, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who tuned in to this week's episode. I appreciate you with all my heart. It's 103 episodes, Lord.
Ooh, 103.
They want 103 episodes, but we gave them 103 episodes.
Tell them, girl.
I wanted to give a special shout out to Hav 600 for being my audio visual, who's always helping me and encouraging me. Appreciate you. Shout out to Christian, who's also in the building, who came in. Hey, and he hit the folks on them. Yes, and so for the 103rd time in a motherfucking row, it's your girl Adi 3000. This is the Ambition Hour podcast, and we are out of here.
Bye.